This is a chayote squash. This is also a chayote squash. We're going to eat this, but we're going to plant this. So stick around and click that like button. The chayote squash originates from South America. However, it's also very popular in the Asian countries. And the squash is edible, both eaten raw or cooked. The skin is also edible and the shoots are also edible. And it's super easy to grow. So what I did here was I bought a chayote squash and I let it sit on the counter for probably 4 weeks, and it grew this shoot. I should have planted it by now, but I wanted to show you what it looks like by just letting it sit on the counter. And here you can see the roots are starting to come out. If I had actually put it in a pot, like so, it would probably have grown the roots much longer and it'll be white. So we'll show you how to plant this squash.
Hey there. When we originally recorded this, we did a bunch more stuff in the kitchen. But I realized when I was editing it that a lot of you aren't going to care about that because you already know what chayote tastes like, you know how to prepare it, you just want to know how to grow it. So I'm going to take all of that stuff inside and move it to the end of the video. And we're going to jump back outside with Daisy, and she's going to show you how we planted it and what it looked like a couple weeks afterwards. And then if you're interested in the kitchen and how I think it tastes and how Daisy prepares it, then stick around to the end and we'll put that at the back of the video. So let's go see Daisy.
It's been 16 days since my previous video when I intended to plant these chayotes. It's been either too cold or too wet. So what I did was I actually snipped the original growth off of here at this second, I guess the second node. You can see the old wound, and all of this is new since 16 days ago. And so what I did was I just got cocoa coir, put it in this pot, and I just put the chayote on top. So I have 2 of them, but I noticed what was interesting was this one, there was resistance on it. And this is why there's resistance. It actually grew. Look at the roots that it grew. That's crazy. This is the 3rd times that I will be planting this. Lessons learned. First one, I planted too deep. Lesson number 2, it got too much water. So it actually rotted. So now I've learned, so it does like rich soil. So I added a lot of compost in here. So we're gonna put this guy here. And this chayote, it actually can take from zone 7 to 11, and you can actually overwinter it in zone 8, believe it or not.
Hey Daisy.
Yes?
Before you plant that one, what happens to the other chayote?
Oh, yes, somebody stole it. I think it was a squirrel or something. About a week after I had put it in the pot, I had lightly covered it with mulch, and when I went back to check on it, all I found was an empty hole. Oh, I was so mad. But I was just shocked that that happened. But anyway, the first one got stolen, but that one I planted too deep. So we're just gonna put it in here. See, I've already put a lot of compost in this area already. And I'm not going to bury it too deeply. Like I said, I probably bury it halfway and leave this exposed, because it doesn't like it too deep, and we just put mulch around it, and it's making contact, so we'll leave it there, and eventually it'll find its way on this trellis. So we'll do the same thing on this one. This one doesn't have any root compared to this one. That just goes to show you it doesn't need a lot to get it germinated. like so. Some people planted it the fat side down with the butt sticking out, or some people just do it flat side is. So I'm just gonna put it flat and not fully buried it. I've seen people do it lightly buried it, but the key is it is susceptible to rot. Doesn't like too much moisture, but once it gets growing, it should be good. So there you have it. Grow, little babies, grow. So it is a prolific grower, and it's also a prolific performer. So we hope it does well, and we hope it gives us a lot of fruitage. This is week number 2 since the chayotes have been planted. So take a look at the first one that actually had root when I put it in. Look at these leaves. They're big, and the tendrils are actually starting to take hold of the string that we put up there for it to climb. So eventually this one will climb the entire trellis. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second one that didn't have any root. So here's the second chayote plant, and it is doing well, not as well as the one that did have root, that did take root, but yet look, it's starting to grab a hold of the string, and it'll eventually make its way up. It's easy to grow chayotes. You can just let it sit on the counter and let it produce a bud or a vine, and then plant it. And this is what you'll get 2 weeks later. However, if you let it sit and let it grow a bud and then put it in potting soil and let it grow roots, you'll get this one. It's a little more vigorous. So there you go. But for now, we're gonna open up this chayote, and we're going to show you what it looks like inside, and we're also going to get Jonathan to taste it. Here's our fruit. I'm gonna cut it so that you can see the seed or the embryo inside. Oh, there is barely a seed, but that's typically where the seed or the embryo is. But it's a very young chayote. So like I said, the skin is edible, but it's a little chewy, so we're going to take off the skin. And people have chopped it up, sliced it like so. They've kind of like cut it like that. Asians do this, or my parents have done it, or my mom have done it, and you can stir fry it like that. Or you can cube it. So get rid of the skin and just cube it. It can be eaten raw or cooked, like I've said, and you can put it in salads or stews, or again, stir fry. I think that's my favorite way, is stir fry. So now we're going to ask Jonathan to give it a taste. I don't think he has ever tasted chayote, so we'll let him in and let him tell you what it tastes like, fresh. So here is our chayote, chopped up in various different ways that people may be cooking it or eating it. So Jonathan is going to have a taste test. Have you ever eaten chayote before that you can remember?
No.
All right, go ahead and have a taste. Which one would you like to try? What is most appealing to you?
We'll try the little matchsticky one. Mm-hmm. If I didn't know any better, I would say that it's an apple, because it looks like an apple, and it looks like it has the texture of an apple. It doesn't taste like an apple.
So what does it taste like to you?
It tastes like a low-fat pear. I know that's weird, but it's like a pear with no sugar at all. It's like a cross between a pear and polystyrene.
No, it's like a cucumber.
No, it's not.
It has that crunch. It's a mild taste, so that's why it's so versatile in so many different cuisines and dishes. So do you like chayote raw?
Not really.
I like it raw, and I also like it cooked. And because we're going to plant it, and it is a prolific plant, we're going to eat it more often than not.
It's kind of bean sprouty.
It's delicious. So now, when the weather gets a little warmer, in another week or so, we're going to plant our chayote, and we'll take you along.
It's okay.
Let's go.
It's okay. It's apocalypse food. If the apocalypse was here and this is what I had to eat, I would eat it.
No! You're so bad. Okay.